Okay, hopefully the sound works this time. So, I needed to make a little addendum here because the formula I have in these columns here, down here, um, it doesn't seem to play well with the reducing columns out here in this mess out here. So, what you'll do is you'll just go ahead and remove columns as needed. Now, of course, this doesn't look so good over here, but I think I already mentioned that, is that three of the columns have to disappear before this stuff over here looks good. And uh, and so, though, what we want to do is once we get our model, we want this predicted value for f, the predicted probability. So right now, they're essentially 0 and 1, right? I can tell that one's 0, that one's 1. But once we get our model, we'll get numbers like 0.1 or 0.003 or 0.9 or something like that. And we want those values, and then from those we will use these two columns, which should be fine once this column works. We'll use these two columns to check for this number, this threshold up here. Is this value below or above the threshold? If it's below the threshold, we'll put a 1, and you can see that here. If the number in A03 here is below the AP1, then we'll put a 1, otherwise it's 0. So, and then this column is just checking how many of these threshold values that became 0s and 1s matched correctly over here. So a 0 here means we don't want to do a kidney transplant. 1 means we do. And so they'll be the opposite of over here, is what we would hope, is that if this was supposed to be a 0, we hope that is supposed to be a 1, because again, this is the kidney failure over here. Here is whether we want to do a transplant, right? So if the kidney does not fail over here, that's a 0, then we do want to do a kidney transplant, that's a 1. And then once we get those, we do a quick check over here to see, did we get it right? So in other words, if this 0 and that's a 1, if they add up to 1, that was a good thing in that case. Or if it's a 1 here and a 0 there, then they should add up to 1. So we're going to see out of all those 100 how many of these add up to 1. So that's the idea. But we've got to get this formula right first. And so to get this formula right, once you get this down to 11 columns over here, once that's down to 11 columns, then you simply go here, click in that cell, do a copy, and then you come over here and you do a paste, just a regular paste, and mine gives me that warning, okay, and then you grab that and drag it down to the bottom to fill it all in. Okay, but notice it still doesn't work. Okay, it won't work until you get this down to 11 columns, and so once you do, then you can do that quick copy and paste. But that's all you have to do, is once you do that quick copy and paste, then all the numbers here should fill in, and you can begin changing the threshold value here to kind of see how that affects things over in this column here, and our number correct, which will go right there. Okay, so that's the major thing here, is just that no matter what you do, if you haven't deleted all your columns over here, this formula is going to get messed up as you delete columns. It just turns out the way it is. I couldn't find any way around it, and so my fix is so that you don't have to go and type in that whole horrendous formula. Once you get it down to 11, again, you simply come over here, copy this cell that has the 0.5 in it, and then come over and paste it here, and then copy it all the way down. Okay, so that is our addendum for the predicted F formula.